Hi friends, welcome back to Azure Content YouTube channel. This is part 12 in SQL Real-Time Scenarios playlist. In this video, we are going to learn how to generate employee salary payment dates using looping concept in stored procedure. So let's see the requirement in details. So we have to create a stored procedure. On the execution of that stored procedure, we should be able to see the list of months, and this list of months should be generated between the start date and the end date that we have to provide as an input parameter to the stored procedure, and corresponding to these salary months we have to generate the last date of the month that should be projected as the payment date in the output. So our result set should consist of two columns. One is salary month and then the payment date. And we don't want to actually create any table for this. We have to create a temporary table, and on that temporary table we should be able to generate this output, and whenever we execute this stored procedure with the start date and end date, it should give us the result as this. So suppose I just want to output the data for 2025-01-01 till 2025-03-01. So between January 2025 to March 2025, give me the list of all the months and the payment date for the employees. So you can easily guess that it will be different for each of the months. For January, the date for the payment should be 31st. For February, it should be 29th for 2024 year because it is a leap year. And if we generate the same for 2025, it should be coming as 28 February. We will be checking after creation of the stored procedure, we will be checking and verifying the output. So we will be generating for both the years 2024 and 2025, and we will check if for the February month for 2025 it should be coming as 28, and for 2024 it should be coming as 29th. Okay, and similarly for all the months it should give the payment date for the employees. Okay, so let's go ahead and start creation of the stored procedure in SSMS. So I already have my SQL Server Management Studio open here. So I will start creating the stored procedure. You already know the syntax for creation of stored procedure. You can go through the previous video to understand the same. So I will write create stored procedure, you can write, or you can directly write create procedure, and then you can write the procedure name. So I will be giving dbo.usp underscore generate salary. Okay, I will write generate salary, and then there should be two input parameters as we discussed in the PPT. We should be passing the start date and the end date. Basically start month and the end month. I don't need to provide date, I just need to provide the year and the month. Okay, so here 2024 January to 2024 December, that's what my input parameter is. So I need two parameters. One is the start month, and the data type for this I'm keeping as VARCHAR 6 because I just need 4 digits for storing the year and 2 digits for storing the month. And similarly end month VARCHAR 6. So my input parameters will look like this in this format: year to 2024, then 01 is the month. That's how I will be providing my input parameters. So I have given VARCHAR 6 as the data type. So to create the procedure, we already know our syntax is we have to say create procedure name as begin end. So that is how the syntax will look like. So inside begin end, my logic will be written. So inside here, what I will do is first I will try to create a date parameter for start date and end date. What I mean is, so suppose my start month is 2024-01. I need to append the date here as 01 as well, and same for the end date. So 2024-1-01, that's how my date should look like. So by default I will be creating the date as 01 for all the months. So let me write declare. I'm going to declare a variable which is start date, and the data type for this will be, I will give date as the data type, because here this is in string format. I need to convert it to date so that I can play around with the date functions. So to do that, I will be using something called cast function. Okay, so first of all date and then cast function. Cast function will change the data type of the variable to the desired data type. So inside cast function, whatever we need to change, that we need to pass, and then as the desired data type. So I need to convert it as date. Okay, so before that, what I need to convert as date is this start month, that will be going on in start date. And as I talked, we have to append 0 1 in each of the input parameter. So I'm going to add plus 0 1 as a string, because till this point it is still a string, because you can see this is varchar 6, and then I'm adding 0 1 here. So to imagine, let me go out of this stored procedure, and here let me declare one variable. For making you understand, I'm just declaring a variable, say start month here, which is varchar 6, which we just declared, and let me hard code it with the value of 2024-01, and then let me declare another variable start date, and here the same logic which we are applying there, I'm trying to show you here. Cast start month plus 01 as date. Okay, and now let me select this start date as start date. Okay, so let me run this, and you can see the start date value is coming as 2024 hyphen 01 hyphen 01. So it has converted the data type from string to date, and it has also appended 01 at the end, because our input was just 2024-01, and it has converted it to this format. Okay, so that's what we are trying to do there. So in the same way, we will also create end date. Okay, and here instead of start month, we will be giving end month. So now we have two variables, start date and end date. Now we need to create another variable to store the result. So our result should be stored in a tabular structure. So we need to create a temporary table. So basically it is a table type of variable that we need to create. So let me declare another variable, say salary table, and the data type for this will be table. So table is also a data type which you can create, and this is basically a variable that will be of table type. So you can store multiple rows and multiple columns in that table variable. So here my table variable, I have to create with the certain schema. So what is the schema? I need to store salary month and payment date. Okay, so salary month will be of varchar type, and then you can see payment date will be of date type. You can see the output here. This is of string type and this is of date type. So now what we need to do is we need to store data in this table variable, and that's what we will fetch at the end of this stored procedure. We will try to get the output from this table variable. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to create a loop so that it will start the loop from the start month and end till the end month. So what should be our condition? So if my start month will be 2024-01 and my end month will be 2024-12, then it should start the loop from January 2024. It should go on to February, March until December, and then it should end the loop. So the condition which I will be writing is while condition. Okay, so while loop, I will be checking if my start date is less than end date. And inside this while loop, I will be writing logic to find out the payment date. And once I get the payment date, I will be inserting the data into my salary table. Okay, in salary table, I'll be inserting the data. And after the insertion, I will be adding 1 on top of the start date. So start date will be start date plus 1, and then I will be ending the loop, right? So in the while loop, it will start with the start date, and until start date is equals to end date, it will keep on looping, and once start date is equals to end date, it will break the loop. Okay, so that's what we will be trying to write the query here. So let me write down while the start date, let me copy, start date is less than my end date. So here I will again write begin and end. So inside this loop, I will be trying to find out the payment date. So to do that, I'll create a variable called payment date, and this variable I have to set value for that. So I'll be writing set this variable as, we will be using a function called end of the month. Okay, so it is written like EO end of the month. You can see here end of the month, and here I need to provide the parameter, and it should be of date time. So whatever the month we provide, that month's end date will be projected here in the payment date. So end of the month will store the last day of the month. If my input is 5th January, then this will store 31st January in the payment date. Okay. So what I need to store pass here is start date. Okay, so it is asking for two variables. The second one is optional. If you see, it is asking second variable as int. So suppose suppose if you want to add uh, on the month, for example, if you are passing first parameter as 5th January, okay, and if you want to add 1 to that, so you might want to get the last date of the next month. That logic you can also implement here by passing the second parameter. But I don't want to pass any parameter for the second parameter here. I don't want to pass any value because I want to get the last date of the same month. Okay, I don't want to append, uh, I don't want to get last date of next month or the previous month. So I'm not passing any value for the second parameter. I will just want the end of the uh, month date for the start date, and I will store the same here. Okay, it is given. Okay, so we have missed declaring the data type for this. Basically, we have not even declared this variable. Let me declare it first before setting value to it. So declare this variable, and let me give the data type as date. Okay, so we have declared, okay, and let me correct it, declare. Okay, so we have declared this variable now, and you can see error is gone, and we have set the value for this payment date as end of the month. And now we need to store this into the salary table. So to insert the data into salary table, we will write insert into salary table variable. Let me copy that, and we will write values. So the first value that we should insert here is the salary month, which is nothing but the start date. Okay, so the start date will be stored here, and the corresponding payment date also we need to pass here. Okay, so we have inserted the data into the table variable, and now as we discussed, we have to do a +1 to the start date so that the loop continues and it should end when it matches the end date. So to do that, if I just set, I will be writing set start date variable equals to, I'll use something called DATEADD function, and here I need to pass the interval and the increment time. Okay, so interval is what we need to add is we need to add on the month. Okay, we don't need to add on the date, we need to add on the month. So the result said what we expect is, you can say these are all the months number. 2024-01 is January 2024, then February 2024. So interval is nothing but month. So I selected month, and what value we need to add is 1. So we need to add 1 for each of the months. So second row should be plus 1 to the previous month. And on which parameter we need to add? We need to add on the start date parameter. So now I have set the value for the start date by incrementing it with 1, and then the loop will continue and it will stop when it matches the end date. Okay, so looks good. We are done with implementation of the logic inside the loop, and outside the loop we just need to fetch the data from the salary table. Okay, once the data have been stored into the table, we just need to select the data from the table so that we can see the data when we execute this stored procedure. Okay, so we are done with the creation of stored procedure. Let me execute this, and the command completed successfully. We have completed the creation of stored procedure. Now we will write execute statement, exec, then the stored procedure name, and then the value. So suppose 2025-01, which means January, and then 2025 maybe August. So in between this range, I need the list of salary month and payment. So you can see this has trimmed the value because salary month, what we are passing is start date, which is having the appended data, and it is typecasted to date type. So we need to change the format. So here, while inserting the data into the table, what we can do is we can use something called format. Here you can see format is a function where you need to pass the value that needs to be formatted, and then which format you need to convert it into. So here I will be converting it into yyyyMM. That's it. Okay, so let me alter this stored procedure. Let me run it till this point, execute, and then I will be executing this stored procedure. So now you can see from 2025-01 till 2025 July. Till this point it is giving data, and as we were thinking to verify the February month data, it is giving 28 as the payment date for 2025. If I do the same for 2024, the February month payment date should be coming as 29. Okay, so you can see 29th February is coming as the payment date for 2024 year because it is a leap year. So with this, we have successfully created a stored procedure that will generate the payment date for all the employees based on the start date and the end date. In between that range, it will generate the salary month as well as the payment date with the logic that we have applied here. So I hope you learned something out of this video. Please practice it on your own, and please hit on like button, and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done it yet. Thank you.